Hey guys, it's Matt. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. It was like mid-January or so. So just kind of wanted to give a quick update on that and talk about one trade in particular in early February. You can see this big red hanging wang here. That it's not a good day. I just want to go over that really quick. I don't remember it in too much detail, but I want to talk a little bit about how it fits into everything here. But anyway, you can see I struggled through. This is my profit and loss curve since January. You can see I struggled through January here. Really didn't find consistency until the end of the month here. It kind of turned around at this point on the 19th, and then headed upward. And I ended up kind of breaking even. Again, this is all gross profit. So net, I was down at the end of January. And then February started off rocky as well, and then I took this huge loss one day, um, which really rattled me mentally for a little bit. But you can see right after, I mean, I just kind of found consistency again, and I haven't had a red day since. That was, I believe, the 5th of February, and then yeah, haven't had a red day since. This was a break-even day, I think here. We're pretty close. But if you look at the calendar, the 5th was my last red day. It's all green since then. So anywho, yeah, we can take a look at this. This is a detailed report. So even with that huge loss, average per share is 0.03. That's with January included. So you can see my total gain, gross gain from then is 295. So with the platform fees with CMEG and the DAS trader, it's 125 or 150 a month. Either way, I'm pretty much either break even or a little red just with those fees, not even considering commissions and ECNs. We'll take a look at my account and everything in a second. But if we don't count January and we just look at from February until now, it's a little better than that just because I had a pretty good month in February after that huge loss. And the huge loss just, I mean, go ahead and leave all the comments you want about what you think about it after I go over it. But I know it was a mistake, and it was just that I didn't follow my rules. I didn't follow my stop out rule, and I tried to work my way out of it, and it didn't quite work out for me. So sorry about that. Pause the video for a second there. Yeah. So anyway, we'll look here. From the beginning of February, it's at 7 cents per share and a little bit better total gain. The thing is that the win rate's still good. So if I if I manage that one day better and don't break my rules and manage that one loss, I mean, let's just look at it. Let's look from the 8th because we skipped that day. I mean, I'm up $1,000 since then, right? But that one day was like a $700 loss or something like that. So, man, that one big mistake can really set you back for a while. But and like I said, mentally when it happened, it was pretty challenging. It was tough to deal with. But let's take a look at this loss that I took. This is the 1-minute chart of that day. These are pre-market levels, or it could have been, post-market hours the day before. It was overnight levels. I don't think these were daily levels because if we look, I don't have a screenshot of the daily chart that I had on DAS at the time, but if we look at the Yahoo daily chart, going back as far as we can, even if we take it a weekly chart, maybe sometimes they'll zoom out farther. Yeah, I mean, you can see the highest level we have there is like 545 or something. So, yeah, that's going back to 1994. So, whatever. Okay, so let's look at this again. All right, sorry about that. Pause the video again. So You can see on this pivot I got short, and then short again up here above this little pop, which was actually kind of nice. If I'd have covered everything here, I think I could have probably, broke even or a little bit of profit. You can see I took a little bit off, but I was really expecting, after this kind of pre-market high pop, uh, and that may have been even the daily. No, that's up at $6. It's probably pre-market. Um, anyway, you can see I was kind of expecting it to fade here, and then it kind of floundered around, and then it out of nowhere just ripped, right? Probably taking out some stops here at the high of day level. And so I got short on this pop here and then covered some more here. And this is where I was still doing well. Actually, I was kind of, it gave me a few chances where I could have probably stopped out and just said, all right, I'm just going to walk away from this because it's not acting like I thought it would. I thought it was going to reject this level, but sometimes it'll give a little pop up here and then fade. But you can see that up here, I stopped out of a little bit. I'm not sure what happened here. If I shorted more here and then stopped out, or vice versa. You can see then I added back here. That was actually a really nice play. I held through this, and then down here is where I remember this being the point where I could have covered there for a small profit, but the action here, I was like, oh no, this is gonna fade. It'll crack VWAP, and then we're good to go. And so I covered some down here, and then this is where I just started to get ripped. And I tried to reshort. I stopped out some. Tried to reshort again. Stopped out. I was trying to recycle my way out of it here. And you can see, I sat through this, and then on this rip here, I was like, all right, now I'm done with this thing. And I stopped out the rest of my position up here, which was like, I forget how many shares I had. Well, it's not really important. I think it was probably 200 shares or something, but I stopped out the rest literally at the fucking top, like a dunce, So that hurt a little bit. Had I had some position here and been able to hold through this and maybe cover down into these dumps here at VWAP or something, I probably could have got out with a smaller loss. Now, what the rule break here is that this should be my my final breaking point, right? Where I added here. And then once it ripped me here, I really should have been either covering all of it here, of course, but in hindsight, when I'm covering here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm taking a little bit off here, but it's probably going to fade. But definitely here, I should have been either here or here, I should have been all out of it. It was, there was no more resistance left overhead. Right. And so for some reason I was just so zoned in on the tape and thinking like, oh no, okay, it's stalling out again. It'll fade. And yeah, I broke a bunch of fucking rules there. You can see I should have been stopping out at the very least here at $8.50, $9, and I let it run me to 14 and a half. So it was just a big rule break. Here it is on the 5-minute chart. Looks even worse there. But anyway, you can see what that did to my profit and loss, right? If we go back here and look at the curve. Just from the beginning of the year. Whoops. So that was a big dip there. It took me pretty much all of February to get back to break even. And again, that's gross. And then net, I was down. So, but anyway, with all this involved, or all this considered rather, you can see if I pull up this is my prop report. Starting in the beginning of January. So you can see I started with 1884.73 right there at the top. See that? I won't go any higher than that because there's info up there I don't want you to see. And then you see down in the bottom right corner I end with 1676.98. So all the work that I've done has lost me, I don't know, $200 or so. So here's the thing, and much like previous videos, I'm still at a point where I absolutely need to start sizing up. And it's funny that the day that I got ripped there that I just showed you on February 5th with that AAME trade, I was actually sizing up that day, which is throughout the, I don't know, year and a half that I've been doing all this. Uh, that's always been the case. Is every time I size up, I take a big loss. Like the first day, it just happens, and then after that, I find a lot of consistency and I grind it back. Um, but and in the past, I would say that it would happen even when I would just take a loss, but because I'd sized up, it was bigger. This time, I took a big loss because I broke a bunch of rules and I was sizing up. Um, but anyway, I've been trading pretty well since then, and so it's time to start adding some size. Basically, by adding size, I'm just willing to risk more, which is obvious, but I had to start thinking about it that way because when I go to enter a trade, I look at, all right, where's my entry? Where would I add? And then what would my absolute maximum stop out be? And how much am I willing to lose on this trade? Right? If it's $200, then you just figure out your share sizes from there. If it's $400, you figure out your share sizes from that. Um, what So what I have to do then is just say, okay, no, it's not $200 anymore. I need to be willing to lose $400 on a really bad trade. Like if it just goes completely against me, it'll be a $400 loss. Okay, that's fine. Because when you start sizing up like that and you've got the consistency that I've had, let's say since that loss, right? I've got almost an 80% win rate. You start sizing up and it's going to work in your favor, right? As long as you don't take a blow up like I did that one day and break rules like a dummy. So anyway, that's where I'm at, guys. There just hasn't really been that much to talk about. And then obviously right after that big loss trade, I didn't feel like talking to anybody about anything. So I hope you're all doing well. And as always, if you've got comments or questions, just leave them in the comments section. Thanks, guys. Bye.